We're going to step back in time today and look at media in real estate agencies from 2002 to 2022. What a warp of a change, and where media is going with real estate as well. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Mark.
I saw you singing. A young whippersnapper out of university, studied marketing, NatPat, decided to work in a real estate. You think this is all normal of what's happening, of what you're doing, really edgy stuff, having fun. But boy, it's changed over a 10 and 20-year period from when we started the agency.
Yeah, well, as someone who was making a lot of the assets behind the 20-year anniversary, I was looking at some of the photos and things that have changed over time, and even looking at our brand. And it's really cool to see how trends change over time, as well as just new technology that's come in and things, especially in real estate. There's so much from a media point of view that's happening and still developing today.
And this is sinister shit. This stuff can actually, if you can imagine major companies not moving their media with times, they're dead. If you looked at any of these companies, like where if you're not moving your marketing and your media with current trends, it's a classic way to go out of business.
It does. It can kill the brand. Like, you want to be modern, keeping up with the times, but also keeping a good mix of traditional and digital media. And I think that's finding that balance that's really tricky, because you don't want to get rid of half your market by cutting all the things they're used to and they know as real estate, but you want to introduce this. Yeah. And you want to reach a whole range of different ages and target markets.
Yeah. And I think each individual business owner, salesperson, person in business, whatever you may be, you're always sort of battling with, let's get rid of what's not necessary and what is still necessary. The cliche thing was getting rid of newspapers. There was just this, this tug of war between the papers disappearing and media is getting really big now. Good morning, yeah. Drew. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, everyone watching, and thank you for watching, guys. If you do have any questions about what we do with media this morning, or any questions, throw them our way. We're happy to have a chat with you about it.
Definitely.
So where do we start?
Well, this is slightly unrelated, but it's a fun little anecdote, because over the weekend I saw a signboard for a real estate agency near where I live. They recently sold the property, and they put the sold sticker on, but they did the big real estate no-no. They put the sold sticker on down instead of going up. Yeah. And it made, I was trying to explain it to my partner, saying that that's not what you do. Like, if we're talking about traditional media in a sense, you go up, and he didn't understand why. I just thought that was really funny, because sold signs, they're meant to go up as to connote happiness. Like, oh, it's sold. It's not sold. So
it's not sold. It's sold. So it's the angle when. So for people like that obviously not in the industry, there even is still psychology in marketing, and psychology in marketing the way you stick a sold sticker on the sign. So there is a positive affirmation and a negative affirmation with just the way you're putting that sign up. So there's a lot of brain space going on in every industry in marketing. And I think even when you look at these major companies like Coca-Cola and the way or the reason these guys are doing some of the stuff out there is just absolutely wicked. There's so much thought going into the smallest of things. That's an example of it.
Yeah, well, one thing they say at uni is that there's two main types of marketing. There's emotional and functional, because they're the two sides of your brain. You're going to have the functional side being, if you're buying a house or a Porsche, oh, do I need this? Do I want this? Then you got the emotional side, where it's like, oh, there's this beautiful apartment that's brand new, but there's also this nice little cottage. Maybe I want to buy the cottage because of the nostalgia, or do I want to buy the nice apartment because I want to feel like James Bond? There's always that emotional part that sometimes it's going to overweigh the functional like thoughts and reason that's in your brain. But I think a lot of marketing deals with that.
And it does. I guess it does couple with practicality as well. So, because you've got to actually weigh it up, invest in it, convince board of shareholders or whatever that it is viable. What this change is going to be. Tell me, you've done our 20-year anniversary stuff. What's the biggest thing that you've seen is in time warp change? So you've gone back 20 years on some of our photos, and you've come back to today, some of our photos. What are the big things you've seen in our industry that we've done in that period from a media perspective?
Well, I think in the industry, and I think Novac's a really good example of this, it's just the use of digital media, social media, Web 2.0, like how that sort of emerged and become sort of a baseline. Like it's not a thing that's new, like, oh, we should try social media. You should be using social media. I think the average person spends over 5 hours on their phone every day. And if you're not tapping into that market, that's a whole wasted opportunity there. And I think it's that real estate, if you're thinking real estate marketing, you typically think of like the signboards, sold stickers, the ads in the paper, the ads at the office. But I think there's this whole other new media happening. And I think if we're not taking advantage of that, I think it's a bit silly in this day and age. And I think Novac's really welcomed that.
Yeah, and what's interesting, people that with the media that's being out there, Lisa says first they laughed and they copied. Absolutely, can we tell you some stories about that? But the storytelling of media and marketing that we're doing now. So real estate agents have always told the story on a signboard, on text and stuff like that. They've always, when they're explaining a property, what it offers, they've taken people on a journey and told them a story with photos, with text. Very basic. Lisa's example of what she does on the signboard is when the property's sold, she grabs the highlight story of the property and publishes that a little bit like a book, but it's a paragraph or it's very short, and she wraps onto the signboard for everyone to drive past and read the story of the property. Furthermore, we're telling these stories of who bought it and who sold it on social and sharing that with people. Storytelling has become a very lengthy thing and a very individual thing that we're doing for media now, which we could never tell a story on a signboard because it just used to say for sale or sold. It was too expensive to say anything else. So I'm noticing that media that you're talking about that's digital is getting very, very tailor-made for people.
Yeah, and I think it's that shift over to customizable, like more customizable content is one thing that I have noticed. So if we're talking about signboards, I'm one of the 3 people in the media team who actually help design and make those. And with every single one, we've used a specific photo there. Like we've really tailor-made it so it is telling that story. And whether it's been sold or it's up for sale, I think you've hit it on the head there. Like there's a story being told behind that property, and the media should be a tool to share that, not just something that's stock standard across every single property you have in the market. Otherwise, it's not different to anything else. So I think using marketing as that tool to tell that story is very important.
Yeah, really well said. Really, really well said. Lisa's baiting you. She's baiting both of us, and she's baiting people that are watching. What did you replace the newspaper with?
Yeah, I think the last time I picked up a newspaper.
I was going to say, but for people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and older, if you were using that newspaper and you are not using that newspaper now, you better sure as hell make sure you're putting the dollars, the time, the headspace into something else as powerful.
Yeah, I think, the newspaper. I think that, we have the list at Novac, which if people don't know, it's a weekly magazine that we do. So I'm not going to talk crap about traditional media because there's definitely still people who use it and want to hold something physical in their hands.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
What's in it?
But
What's in the list?
The list, oh gosh, where am I? Is our weekly magazine with all our residential sales listings. And so you can see there, this is designed by Lisa Glynn. And it's just because I feel like we do incorporate QR codes into this, but that's one thing with QR codes. There's actually, everyone's using them now. So if you just go to a property and there's just a single QR code, I think people want to hold something in their hands and have to actually look at it. We're on our phones so much. It's nice to have a break and just pick up something physical and flick through it. Yes. And there's something, and so we got like little information, like informative articles in there as well. But that's one way I think you don't want to eradicate traditional media altogether, because that's when we're not at that point where we're entirely digital. And it's nice to just have something there.
And people still like information in bite-sized, easy chunks, relevant to digital, not digital print. They just like bite-sized chunks. So that's been very successful, that list.
Yeah. And even just like we've got little A5 brochures as well. I know myself, I'm constantly on my phone. I like a break from it. And yeah, it's little things like that on the list.
It's there.
And then I've got this one. If we're talking about 2002, this is Novak's old little market appraisal book that I found in the archives.
The archives. So when people used to sell a property, we used to put this book together for them. And this is circa 2005.
I know. I wish I would like to show more of it, but as you can tell, a lot of our branding was green.
So it goes see-through.
Yeah, so it's really innovative. It was before its time, but that's one page that I really like. That was the last page in this little booklet. The end, no, it's not. It's just the beginning. And I think that sort of links back to what you were saying about storytelling. Even just having this last page, it's not like, another corporate real estate book. It's there's a little heart in there, and I thought that was cute when I was flicking through this little book.
Well said. Before we go, Grandma wants to talk.
That's my Granny Annie, if anyone's curious. Good morning, Granny.
Granny, the wild one, the wild child.
Oh, that's so good. That's made my morning. From my hands into yours.
There you go. So before we go, anything else you want to talk about on how media has changed from, in summary, from 2002 to 2022 in real estate?
I think traditional is not entirely gone. There's gone, as I've learned how to say properly. There's still a market for it. Gone. But social media, if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. You're missing a whole 5 hours a day. That's however many hours a week. That's 35 hours
from one consumer.
One person. Yeah. And so I think innovate, just trying to think of fun little innovative things into the real estate industry. I think there's a lot of potential still to.
And I remember we were doing training with Tom Panos 4 years ago, and Tom said real estate agencies will beat media agencies. And we were like, what? He goes, the real estate agent will be replaced by them. We'll have all of their business or part of their business in media agency. We are media agencies as well as real estate agencies. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty powerful. I like it. I can see where you're going with it. We have our own media agency internally now.
Yeah, well, that's like that whole 15 minutes a day. It's like that. Does a property really sell if there's no media to show that it's selling? Does a tree fall in a forest if anyone can hear it? It's sort of like that. There's no point trying to sell a property if you can't market it properly.
Boom! Listen to you. Well said. Have a beautiful day, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
It's amazing. It's amazing getting into the mind of a highly trained media person coming out of university to this morning. Clever. Well done. Well done. And thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, thank you. It's been good.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you for watching. Nat, thanks for everything, and we'll have a great day.
See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.